everyone, welcome for another Great Empires and Civilization ASMR. And this time the subject is the Swedish Empire and the Swedish former possessions. Well, the Swedish Empire was the period in Swedish history spanning much of the 17th and 18th century, during which Sweden became an European great power that exercised territorial control over much of this Baltic territory. At its peak of 17th century, the Swedish Empire was one of the great powers of Europe, alongside with France and Spain. This status was achieved through military power. Territorial gains and economic strength. Also, Sweden possessed some overseas colonies from 1638 until 1878. Sweden possessed 5 colonies, 4 of which were short-lived. The colonies spanned on 3 continents: Africa, Asia, and North America. In terms of rulers, Sweden emerged as a great European empire or European power under the King Gustavus Adolphus. Adolphus. Popular name King Gustav. During the 30 Years' War, Sweden managed to conquer approximately half of the member states of the Holy Roman Empire. Well, while not as extensive as some other powers, Sweden did have colonies during the imperial period. One of them was New Sweden, which was established in North America, including parts of New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. The Dutch later seized New Sweden in mid-17th century. Later laid claim to a number of Caribbean islands. A string of Swedish forts and trading posts was constructed along also West Africa as well, but these were not designed for Swedish settlers. Through the efforts of Johannader Salvius, it obtained Swedish Pomerania, Western Pomerania, Western Pomerania, Rügen, Usedom, Wolin, as well as the towns of Stettin, Greifswald, Stralsund. From the Holy Roman Empire. These German possessions were to be held as fiefs of the Holy Roman Empire. Let's return to the Antillean possessions. Saint Barthélemy is the only Caribbean island. This one. Only Caribbean island to have been historical a Swedish colony for a significant length of time. Guadeloupe only having been one briefly at the end of Napoleonic Wars. In addition to this, the Swedes attempted to settle Tobago in 1733, but were driven away by native tribes, and the Tobago was later claimed by the British. In Africa, Sweden temporarily controlled several settlements in the Gold Coast. Gold Coast. Present Ghana, since 2020, 22 April 1650, but lost them in 1663. In 1652, the Swedes took Cape Coast, which had been previously under the control of the Dutch, and before that to the Portuguese. In the East India Company, let's talk about Swedish East India Company. In attempt to compete with other European trading companies, Sweden established the Swedish East India Company in 18th century. The company engaged in trade with China, and Southeast Asia, and India. But faced financial difficulties and was eventually dissolved. The Great Northern War. Well, Sweden was involved in the Great Northern War. Great Northern War. From 1700 until 1721, a conflict primarily against Russia and Poland. The war marked the decline of the Swedish Empire and rise of Russia as a major power in the area. The Swedish Empire after then started to decline. A very unusual fact is Queen Christina's abdication. The Queen Christina of Sweden, who reigned from 1632 to 1654, made an unusual decision to abdicate the throne. After her abdication, she converted to Catholicism, and moved to Rome, where she played a prominent role in the European cultural and intellectual circles. Alright, how about some pacts and battles? The Swedish Empire, particularly during the 17th century, was engaged in a series of military campaigns, mostly for conquering different regions from the Baltic area. Some of the notable conquests include Livonian War. The Livonian War. Although the Livonian War predates the official establishment of the Swedish Empire, it laid the foundation for the Swedish territorial gain. Livonian War. After the war, Sweden gained control over parts of Livonia, present-day Latvia and Estonia. Latvia and Estonia in present days. 30 Years' War, from 1680 until 1648. Sweden played a significant role in 30-year war. Well, that's a popular term, intervening on a Protestant side. Under the king Gustavus Adolphus, Sweden achieved military success and expanded its territory. Notable conquests during this period was Battle of Breitenfeld over the Holy Roman Empire, establishing Swedish dominance in northern Germany. Battle of Lützen, 1632. Gustav Adolphus died on this battle, but Swedish forces, led by General Axel Oxenstierna, continued to secure territorial gains. Peace of Westphalia. The Peace of Westphalia recognized Sweden's territorial acquisitions, including part of the Holy Roman Empire. The Second Northern War. Sweden under Queen Christina and later Charles X. Gustav engaged in the Second Northern War against Poland and its allies. The Treaty of Roskilde, 1658, and the Treaty of Oliva resulted in significant territorial gains for Sweden. At the Treaty of Roskilde, Sweden acquired territories from Denmark, Scania, Belkinge, Trondelag, which is now in Norway, and the island of Bornholm from Denmark. The Treaty of Oliva. This treaty concluded the war and solidified Swedish control over Livonia and parts of northern Poland, like Elbing and Kamin. Well, as I say, the Great Northern War marked the decline of the Swedish Empire, but included notable territorials. Sweden under the Charles XII faced coalitions led by Russia, Poland and Denmark. The Treaty of Nystad in 1721 marked the end of the war and led to significant territorial losses for Sweden. Sweden ceded several territories to Russia, including Estonia, Livonia, Estonia, Ingria, and parts of Finland. This marked the end of the Swedish dominance in the Baltic region. Here with dark green we have the territories under Gustav Vasa, the dark green areas. These ones and this one, the Estonia. This with more lighter, with, I don't know how to say, but it's also a darker one. Dark green acquisitions between 1560 and 1611. It's Gentland, this region, and I think that's, and Holland. The green, more light green, the acquisition between 1611 until 1654. These were Karelia and also the islands of Ösel and Gotland. And here the acquisition between 1654 and 1660. Here we have Trondelang and Scania, 1658. And this was a very interesting subject that I wanted to share with you today. So, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if I did a mistake, please correct me with a comment below. Until next time, all the best. Bye bye.